Yeah. Wake up with coffee and sports. Sunrise glow, listen coast to coast. A flow like you know.
Offensively, who made them? Oh, Patrick Mahomes.
Sideline to sideline with plays to show. This network's got the spark.
When you put up 300 yards rushing against someone, that you got your butt whooped.
I feel like I would have liked to see Oregon, Ohio State in the semis, not the quarters. So I think some reseeding is probably where I would change. But
they're out of their mind. They're going to do this 3 quarterbacks in a row.
Here's the crazy.
I just can't take it.
Birds keep flying high, fans cheering loud, and one podcast moving through the crowd. Meaty boys brawling, no holds barred out. This wire life never in doubt. Tune into the vibe.
That's my bold prediction for the show. Devin Booker, in the next 3 years, he will be a Houston Rocket.
Because I still think Seth is still at the top of his game. I do. I think he's right there. Who knows? Maybe. Not this year, but one time soon. Why wouldn't we potentially see Seth and Roman? One more, you know what I mean?
Tune in the vibe.
Gardi on the mic tonight. News coming in left and right. Mo better with the latest fight. Jeans got that insight tight. Champions rise and they fall. Why I got it all. Every movie, every brawl. Tune in for the curtain call. Wrestling talk all night long. Catch the latest match and song. Ring the bell, let's get it on. Every story bright and strong. In the ring they clash and roar. New rivalries and so much more. Titles change and legends lore.
Hey, what's poppin', y'all? It's your boy, Gardi3, and welcome to the Meaty Boys podcast. And of course, joining just like every week, he is Mo Better. How you doing, Mo?
Hey, what's good, Brad? Chat. Appreciate you guys joining us. Let's talk some wrestling.
Absolutely. By the way, I see you already in there. Key, what's up? Great to see you.
What's up, Key?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, it's a big weekend for wrestling. We got Summerslam. It's going to be a fantastic weekend. We got, an episode of SmackDown before that. It'll be kind of curious to see what the buildup is, and there's rumors back and forth on what the main events of SummerSlam are going to be.
Yeah, I'm curious about what more they're going to do in terms of the build-up right before SummerSlam.
It's funny to me because I keep seeing, they put out a banner promoting SummerSlam, and for night one, they had the promotional picture be Roman and Jay and Breaker and Reed. And everybody was worrying about, is the tag match going to be the main event of night one? I'm just like, guys, I don't think they're going to put the random tag team match as the main event of night one. It just has to be both men's championship matches, I'd imagine.
I agree.
So you got, I'll say Punk Gunther night one. I'm guessing Cena and Rhodes has night two. And night two is looking like a great night, by the way. That's the night I'm excited about the most. Sunday's going to be terrific.
A lot of belts on the line.
No, absolutely. And, I figure, might as well, before we get there, though, might as well knock it out of the way, because I'm talking about last Thursday, we had the passing of WWE Hall of Famer Hulk Hogan. And a lot of people were using the term complicated when it comes to Hulk Hogan's legacy, and I don't think it's really all that complicated, right? It almost feels, and it's weird to me, because it almost when obviously we all know about the comments and everything that were made in 2015. It almost felt like Hulk Hogan kind of died at that point, and we were just kind of left with, Terry. I don't know what else other way to put it, but we have, it's complicated, and I'm not going to pile on too much when it comes to, Hogan, because when it comes to, Hulk Hogan, as much as his comments were very inappropriate and, his views were just not something that are, welcomed or represented here. And that being said, there are family, there are friends that are still absolutely in shambles and, mourning over the loss. So it's one of those things that I'm not going to be one of those guys that's going to pile on to, the Hulkster, but I'm actually going to extend my condolences to his friends and family that are, mourning. There's no denying that the guy made, when you talk about WWE Mount Rushmore, he's clearly on there. And there are friends that are mourning. So there's no denying the impact. And I hope his friends and family just get the help that they need in this dark time for them.
What can you say? Hulk Hogan is the first wrestling megastar. He is a big reason why wrestling went from being a territorial or regional source of entertainment. He's a big reason why wrestling is international. He helped lift it to that level. He was beyond just a face or a character, or later in his career a heel. His persona that he created, that persona of Hulk Hogan, was almost like Marvel, like superhero like. He was the first guy with the dolls and all the commercials. He took wrestling out of being in a small window, and he put it on not just TV, but on cable and pay-per-view TV. He was a big part of that. So if I'm going to give him his flowers, I'll give him his flowers for the impact that he had on wrestling. He's on wrestling's Mount Rushmore because of that. He's on wrestling's Mount Rushmore because when we were all little and younger, Hulk Hogan entertained us. He was the first wrestler that you actually turned to on Saturday mornings instead of watching cartoons. You watch wrestling because of Hulk Hogan. So I'm going to give him his flowers for doing that. That's the reason why he's on wrestling's Mount Rushmore, for the persona, for everything he did to help push wrestling forward to more viewers, to more fans. So I'll give him credit for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Say the impact is undeniable. So yeah, that at the end of the day, like I said, I know a lot of people whether you like him or dislike him. I think at the end of the day, it is just kind of unfair to pile onto him because he is past, and I just think it's more so unfair to guys like obviously like Bischoff and Nash and his friends and family that. So, like I said, I think Mo said it perfectly. I'm not going to speak ill of him at this point, and I think thoughts and prayers are with all of his close family and friends. And, of course, that brings us to SummerSlam. Now, there's been a lot of iterations of, SummerSlam throughout the years, and I'm wondering if any of these matches will crack some of my favorite all slam matches. Daniel Bryan versus John Cena, CM Punk versus Brock Lesnar were fantastic. Edge versus The Undertaker inside Hell in a Cell. So many classic SummerSlam memories, and I'm excited to see which ones, if they're able to create some new ones on Sunday.
There's an opportunity there. They've been working a lot on storytelling to build up SummerSlam. I'm intrigued by the triple threat match with Io, Rhea, and of course the champ Naomi. I think a lot of people think that seems to be the end of it. I feel like there's more to that story. For some reason, I feel like it won't be totally resolved at SummerSlam. That's just a gut feeling.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Was Hey, what's good, Dante? Yeah, Mo and I've been talking wrestling since, like, ironically, I think our first ever show was last SummerSlam.
Coach, hey, what's up, man?
Yeah, I even realized that, Mo. I think around this time will be about the 1 year anniversary from when we started Meaty Boys, because we started around. I remember our second ever show was a watch along for SummerSlam, so I love that. I love that we're there.
Yeah.
But why don't we start breaking down this card a little bit and talking about night 1 and night 2. I will admit I'm a lot more excited about night 2 than night 1. It almost feels like a landslide, but wrestling has this weird thing where they'll make it seem like, for example, night 2 is better than night 1, then night 1 will just blow everybody out of the water. So say at least it takes his mind off the Lakers.
I saw that. Come on.
Now, figure we start with there's one match I'm not really excited for, I'll admit. On SummerSlam, we're having Sami Zayn versus Karrion Kross the third. They've been trying to build a story with this, but at the same time, like it's just not gripping me, at least. Mo, if you had to pick a winner in this match, who would you have win this one?
I don't know. I feel like we the fans are the losers. I don't want to see this match. I feel like Karrion Kross, you know how they say some athletes or some teams rise to the level of their competition. I feel like Karrion has a mutant-like ability to bring people down to his level. I don't think he elevates Sami Zayn. I think he pulls him down. There's just something about Kross. It's weird because he's become better on the mic, more entertaining on the mic, but he's not really any more entertaining in the ring than he was before. I feel like his lane might not be as a wrestler. His lane might be as a manager, as a mouthpiece, because I think he's got a gift for gab, but he's not that great in the ring. And I don't want to see that match. I'm not interested in it. I'm sure the 4 or 5 Karrion Kross fans want to see it, but I don't want to see it.
It was the second match that turned me off of this one, because Twitter, they were going like, "Oh, that was the best Karrion Kross match, that we've seen this year." I'm like, yeah, but the problem is that was maybe like the most mid Sami Zayn match I've seen this year. Like,
right. Like, that's my point.
So this one, I'm hoping that Zayn wins and we can, just move on from this whole experiment.
Yeah.
Like I said, I appreciate them trying to build a story, but this one, as he just put it, bathroom match.
Yeah, they can let after this is resolved, Karrion Kross can start a feud with the LWO. You know what I mean? He can get into a feud with the LWO, what's left of the New Day, some kind of feud with them. That's about where he should be.
I think he is much better with like a tag team. Like when he had the whole like Final Testament with them, and he could kind of let everybody else do his dirty work. I thought he was great in that role, but yeah, I think his days as a solo star just aren't there.
I think he missed the window. I think there was a window and he missed it. But I think he can still be a star, just in a different role.
No, that's fair enough. I will say they have done a great job, though, convincing me about this next match. For a second there, when Liv got hurt, thought the Judgment Day was going to kind of fall off a cliff, but yeah, I admit Roxanne has been a great addition. They've been holding it down. They're at least keeping me intrigued enough to see what happens when Liv comes back. They're defending the tag titles. Roxanne and Raquel versus Charlotte and Alexa. And it's funny. Like on one hand, I feel like you'd want to keep the titles on the Judgment Day, but Alexa and Charlotte have been a fantastic team together.
Yeah. Key just said it in the chat. On the one hand, I do get why you want to keep it with Roxanne and Raquel, but yeah, because of the weird chemistry that Alexa and Charlotte have, and it works, and the whole bit with we're not friends, that works. I can see them winning the title, and I can see them having a long reign until eventually, because you know it's going to happen. Eventually, one of them will turn on the other.
No, and I agree with that. It's great. I think what they're doing with Charlotte is, they're almost just like highlighting more of like the side that we didn't get to see, like when she's chasing the world title and trying to be all serious, like having her do, some of these funny little skits with Alexa. I think it's just making her more like relatable and just making her a lot more like likable when she's not, I guess, all serious all the time. So I love what they're doing. Those two are just fantastic together. And I agree. There should be new champs at SummerSlam.
Hats off to creatives, Triple H, and whoever's working with them with this storyline, because you said it, partner. What they're doing is it's almost like they're reintroducing Charlotte to us, and they're showing you she actually has a sense of humor, that she can be funny. And right now, at this stage in her career, she is more interesting when she's chasing. And even if they win the tag titles, down the road she's going to want to get back in the picture in terms of being a singles champion. But I think this run with her and Alexa reintroduces her to the fan base where they can get to know her better. It'll set her up better down the road for future storylines. So the way they're doing this, call it a rollout, if you will. It's been great. It's been great.
No, absolutely. And I think a big thing that they should just keep doing moving forward is focus more on the Charlotte part and less on the Flair part of the name.
Yes.
It's just when they lock into that, Flair part, they're like, oh, she needs to be like her dad and capture like 27 world titles. That's when it gets boring. But now it's almost like they're just locking in on Charlotte, the actual like character, and it's been great. So as much as I love, what Roxanne's added to the Judgment Day, I think we should definitely crown new champs here. But that might not be the only match with the new champ, and I think we're going to have another title change. We got Jade versus Tiffany. Unless of some sort of shenanigans happen or like a Tiffany heel turn, I don't see how Jade doesn't walk out of this match with a win.
It's funny you said that, because I see it the other way around. I think if Tiff Stratton does what she does best, she's a better heel than she'll ever be a face. If she has a heel turn because she wants to hold onto the belt, she'll win. She'll win. Because Jade has a certain style that she would have to play into for Jade to win. She's clearly more technical and more skilled in ring performer. But because she's playing the role somewhat of a face, it's weird because Jade's a face. Somebody's got to turn to win this match, and the likely person to turn is going to be the champion who's desperate to hold onto the belt.
Yeah, and I think that would almost be perfect. So like it's one of those things that if it's like a clean, straight up one-on-one match, yeah, Jade's gonna win. But if Tiffany does turn, then yeah, I think Tiffany does retain, and I think that's the right move. So, every time I bet against Jade, though, she proves me wrong every single time. So, I'll still stick with Jade winning, but this match is actually probably very 50-50, so I'm here for it.
I'm gonna go with Tiffany winning, and she'll pin her. It won't be clean, but a win's a win.
Now, fair enough, and it could set a turn heel, set up a fun rematch at they got Clash at Paris in like 3 weeks after this. It's wild how many events they just kind of go one after the other at times. Say I have a dream match that I hope they do at Clash at Paris, but I'll get to that one later. For now, we got our attraction match, if you will. We got Drew McIntyre, who ironically is actually stuck over, I believe, in the UK right now. And, they're trying to get him back over, but apparently they're convinced that they can, fix the travel issues by SummerSlam. But as of right now, yeah, it's Drew and Logan versus Randy Orton and Jelly Roll. Now, before before anybody picks on Jelly Roll, I do want to point out that apparently he's been in the Performance Center pretty much every day for like the last couple weeks. And I think he said he moved down there last month, and, he's kind of been there almost every day, really taking it seriously. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Jelly Roll has in the ring in an actual match.
I'll say this. When they say, like, well, he's been in there for 2 weeks and stuff, that sounds good, but really, 2 weeks is nothing. It's nothing when you're trying to learn timing and some moves. And I look, I think he'll make himself credible, but let's be realistic. Logan and Drew should win this match. I guess they'll make it seem close, but it shouldn't be close. Like there is a weakest link in that match, and it's Jelly Roll. And I said I think at some point somebody's gonna make him look like a jelly roll. He's gonna lose.
It's kind of funny. I don't think Jade's ready for the title yet. Fair. He'll be back. Nobody wants to see Miz and Logan Paul. Miz would be the backup plan. You know what? They did turn on each other once, so I don't know if they would team up again, but
I don't want to see Miz and I think the match has already got a weird thing going with it just because you want to put a celebrity in it. I don't want to see Miz. Miz is more celebrity than wrestler at this point in his career. So what I don't need is another one. So I at least hope Drew's there to give the match some credibility. But like I said, Logan Paul on his own, he's a show on his own. So I do think, I'm sure Jelly Roll will have a moment, maybe a couple of moments. I also think he'll be the one that gets pinned.
And you know what? Yeah, I think so too. It's closer for me than I think, just because I know WWE love the headlines like, "Oh, Jelly Roll wins his opening match at SummerSlam," but I think the right move is just have Logan and Drew take this one. So I'll go with Logan and Drew also. It was funny. We saw Jelly Roll in the ring a little bit. He busted out some moves on Logan Paul, and
yeah, it was interesting because the move he did. It's funny because it was fitting. He did the big boss man slam. I hadn't seen that in like forever, but that was the move that he pulled off, the big boss man slam. And he did a good job. Like I said, I think he'll have moments in the match. But I feel like this SummerSlam in particular, I feel like more than not, it's going to be a SummerSlam where a lot of heels have their way.
Hey, and you know what? I think that'd make for a great SummerSlam for me. Half of my favorite wrestlers are heels at this point. I'd say, yeah. Speaking of heels, we're kind of at the co-main events already. I guess the first one we can talk about, since it ties into Monday Night Raw last night. Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker got the upper hand. They're facing Roman and Jey Uso, and you can almost tell when Roman really likes somebody, because when he does, he goes all the way to make them look like $1 million.
Right.
And then that's what happened last night. Braun Breaker hitting them both with a double spear through the barricade. Like, that was just a terrific segment, and Braun Breaker looked like an unstoppable animal. That being said, I don't think they have the Tribal Chief lose his return match here. So
no, I don't think he loses. I think Roman and Jey find a way to win, but I think it is a brutal back and forth match for most of the match. Look, I watched last night and I was like, now they're robbing the man. They took his shoes. Who takes people's shoes, man? Like it's one thing to get beat down. It wasn't enough that they had to take the man's shoes. I was like, they're wilding now. They are wilding. So yeah, I know I said I think heels are going to win most of the time this SummerSlam, and I believe that. But if any heels are going to lose, I think it will be Braun and Brunson Reed.
Yeah, you know what? It's gonna be the greatest thing ever. They're gonna lose this match, and for some reason, everybody's gonna pull out old reliable. Oh, they got buried. They lost. I want to remind people, by the way, before this, SummerSlam kicks off, that all because you lose one match, it doesn't mean you got buried. I think there's plenty of young talents that's obviously going to lose. And, that doesn't mean they're buried. They'll be fine. And this is one of those situations. Losing to Roman and Jay, they'll be absolutely okay after.
They will, because I believe at some point, Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker are going to be tag team champions.
Say he pulled the Friday taking Devin's shoes. Hey, fair enough.
That's wild.
Hey, you know what? I think an interesting storyline is we've seen other people cash in Money in the Bank. They won it technically in a match, but I think it'd be almost an interesting storyline. Like, what if while Seth was gone, Heyman found a loophole and Braun Breaker cashed in the Money in the Bank contract?
That would be fun. Look, that would be fun. It would be entertaining, and it would create another layer to the storytelling, because I could see when Seth is ready to come back, Seth is going to walk up to Braun Breaker and go, "Good job. Hand me my belt." And Breaker's going to be like, no. Like, that's how that's going to work. There's no way Breaker's giving the belt. If he gets a shot and he can cash in and he wins, he's not giving Seth the belt. So I think it would be entertaining. Look, if you believe what the NFL genius believes, he believes it's a work. And if he's right, Seth will intervene right after your guy CM Punk beats Gunther. Seth's going to come out of nowhere when they're both wiped and beaten down and take the title off. Like CM Punk's going to be the champ for like 45 seconds.
You know what? You know where I'd love to see that happen if they do pull that swerve? I'd love to see them wait. Mo, I think a great chance to create the next big wrestling heel. Hear me out. We turn John Cena face, but he still has the title. He defends it all the way until his final date. He successfully defends it, and he's trying to celebrate with the fans, proceeds to get broken in half by a spear. And that's where Paul Heyman reveals the loophole and Braun Breaker cashes in Money in the Bank and ruins John Cena's retirement day.
That's a big moment, but I don't see Breaker doing that, because I don't think Breaker, it's a big moment, but Breaker's not a big enough star. Like, Seth can do that and get away with that. And somebody like Punk is big enough to do something like that. Reigns is big enough to do something like that. Cody, Breaker's not big enough to get they'll never let him pull off something like that. At least not now. Not right now.
I would love to see Seth do something like that and catch everybody off guard. He's just so hard to take into consideration because they haven't given us a timeable on when he's going to be back. So
that's why it's intriguing. No timetable, no real news. Like, they've gone mute on Seth Rollins, what his situation is, where he's at. But I think that's intentional. So I do think, I'll say it's a 50-50 chance that the NFL genius is onto something.
Yeah, I guess, next match to talk about. I think it'll be the main event of night one is that Gunther Punk match. And I could see him absolutely pulling that kind of swerve since they're being this quiet about the whole situation. But on one hand, I would love to see, Gunther retain, but it just feels like it's too much of Punk's moment right now that he's walking out with that title.
And that's too bad, because I thought this second time around with Gunther, he had a different kind of momentum that he didn't have the first time around. And so I thought the way they were using him, he set up to go on a nice run as champion. But there's a shift in the way things are going momentum wise, and it seems like coming into SummerSlam, CM Punk has all the momentum and all the confidence.
Yeah, and I do kind of dislike it for Gunther. Granted, I'll be Punk wins the title. It'll be terrific because I love Punk. But yeah, no, I feel for Gunther. Like I thought he was to have another great title reign, or a great, better title reign than the first one. But if it ends at SummerSlam, I guess I really can't say that, considering his only title defense will be against Goldberg and then Punk. So I think it'll be a great match regardless, though. But yeah, I think Punk's walking out with that title.
If not, wouldn't that say that Gunther's going to be champ for a long time?
I would keep him champ until WrestleMania.
Yeah, I just feel like if he can get past CM Punk, it seems to me like he's set up to wear the belt all the way up into whoever they pit him up against at Mania.
It almost feels like there's two great options for Gunther if he held on to the title until WrestleMania. And I think it's a perfect spot for an up-and-comer, by the way, in that world title match against Gunther at WrestleMania. He has like two guys that were like his kryptonite, and it's ironically, I believe it's the last two guys to pin him in NXT. That I think either one would be a phenomenal match for Gunther. One of the one option, and it's far off. We haven't seen him since he tore his ACL, ironically, in a match against Gunther at a house show. Ilya Dragunov. People have been dying for an Ilya Dragunov versus Gunther rematch.
I love that guy.
And because they had a match at NXT UK, and it was a beautiful piece of work. But obviously the second one, and it could be a more realistic option than Dragunov for WrestleMania. The last guy to pin him in NXT was Braun Breaker. And I think it could be a fun story where Seth Rollins cashes in, wins the World Championship or the WWE title, and he sends Braun Breaker to go get the world title. And then you'd have like a tweener Gunther who would technically be playing the face and a heel Breaker, and I think it'd be a fun dynamic with those two.
That's actually a really entertaining matchup if you think about it. I would be here for that.
So like I said, I'm kind of hoping for a Gunther retaining, but I'll be happy either way because I know Punk will knock it out of the park. He doesn't really miss with these kinds of things. And of course, night two. Like I said, I think night two will be. And this is, by the way, why I said night two will be better than night one. It just, if I read the comparison, like the rundown of the matches comparison, we have a 6-man ladder match for the tag team titles. We have Styles versus Dominic, Lyra Valkyria versus Becky Lynch, Solo versus Jacob Fatu, Naomi versus Rhea versus Io Sky, and Cody versus Cena. Like, that's just an absolute murder's row of an undercard. Like, this night two is going to be popping.
I'm excited for I'm excited for SummerSlam in general, but night two is going to be insane.
Yeah. I guess we can start off with the newest match first. A 6-person tag match here, or ladder match for the titles. Obviously, it was just won by the Wyatt Six not too long ago. But DIY, Andrade and Phoenix, the Motor City Machine Guns, the Wyatt Six, Street Profits, Fraxium, pretty much everybody, the entire SmackDown Tag Team division is in this match pretty much. So it's insane to think about. I guess, Mo, which SmackDown team do you think takes this one home?
I'm going to go with the underdog. And I think they are the underdog. I think Andrade and Phoenix win.
You know what? I wouldn't mind that. It's funny. I could see them playing it safe and just keeping the titles on the Wyatt Six, but I'm going to go with first-time champs too. Give me Nathan and Frazier. Give me a Fraxium SmackDown Tag Team title run. I think the beautiful thing about the SmackDown Tag Team division, there really isn't a wrong answer here. Like, any single team could win this match, and I'd be absolutely okay with it. When arguably the worst option is Andrade and Phoenix, and, at least they would have a, 5-star match every time they're out there. It's just such a night and day comparison, because if you would have told me, Mo, that the entire division of, for example, the entire tag team division of Raw was having a ladder match, I genuinely don't think I could name you past 3 teams, and I don't think it would be that good. So I'm happy they got the division right with the SmackDown tag team division.
I am too. And you bring up a great point. Street Profits they just lost the belts. They could easily win it back. I feel like, though, they're setting, I don't want to say the end of the Street Profits, but I think Brett, they're getting ready to make that move to where Montez is featured more as a solo. Look, they've held him back long enough. It's like he's ready. Like, we talk about the rockets that are strapped to the back of Stephanie Vaquer. I think you could strap the same rockets around Montez Ford and let him go. Let him go. He's ready. And it doesn't mean the Street Profits can't still be together. Let's just say his matches as a solo artist would be highlighted more.
Yeah, I would, because it almost just feels like at this point there's just nothing left for the Street Profits to do. Like, they've already been tag team champions. Like, you could give them another tag team title run with a long reign, but yeah, I'm at a point where I would rather see a Montez singles run, and I even think Dawkins could get a nice singles run. I think the only difference is I think Montez would get a main event singles run, and I think Dawkins would maybe get more like a mid card, like US or Intercontinental singles run.
I love that. I think Dawkins is good enough to be a top competitor at the mid card level. I 100% agree with that.
Yeah, hey, could make for a great WrestleMania moment eventually if they both win a singles title on the same stage and they can come out and celebrate together.
I would love that.
Say, by the way, the next match, Mo, this is one of my favorites. AJ Styles and Dominic Mysterio. This storyline has been utterly hilarious.
Yeah.
AJ Styles has been absolutely in his bag with, taking on all these different roles, going from valet to janitor, making a cake for Dom, praying for his healing. Dom's acting is so perfect. He's slightly over the top and extra, but it makes it in just the perfect way. Like, I love both of these guys' work, and I'm so excited for this match just because the build-up was just so fun. And I guess the real question, do you think it's AJ Styles or do you think it's Dominic Mysterio?
The build-up feels like, obviously, Dom's running from AJ Styles with all these. I haven't been cleared yet. I still haven't been cleared yet. And it feels like the build-up is that Styles is going to win. And yet, I don't know, man. Dom is so good at being the guy you love to hate and he's just a natural heel. Like when you say he's got it, Dom's got it. And AJ Styles has been a star a lot longer, has had a lot of belts. I don't know if AJ Styles needs the belt. And I think the WWE universe is more interesting when Dom's more interesting. I'm going to say Dom pulls off the upset. Obviously, he won't win in a clean pin, but I think Dom finds a way to win.
So I need a combination of something to happen. I either need AJ Styles to win the Intercontinental Championship or John Cena to retain the WWE Championship. The only reason is I feel like that would be the easiest way to get what I want, and that is either WWE or Intercontinental Championship match between the two at the Clash of Paris pay-per-view. I think they already announced that obviously that's one of John Cena's advertised dates. He's going to be going to Paris, and him and AJ Styles have elite chemistry, and arguably, John Cena has. Or you can argue that John Cena's best dance partner ever was AJ Styles. Like, he hasn't really had a better run of matches outside of CM Punk than the ones he had with AJ. That being said, I think the most realistic outcome for that is AJ Styles winning the Intercontinental Championship. So I guess that kind of gives a spoiler of what I think is going to happen in the main event, but I'm going to go with AJ Styles wins the Intercontinental Championship.
And you might be spot on. I think you might be spot on, but I just think Dom is fun. Look, if AJ Styles wins, I'm good with that. But if Dom wins, I think the wheels keep rolling because Dom's just fun. He's just entertaining, and they're not done with the storyline going on with that faction because when Liv comes back, there's going to be a setup to where Liv's going to go either me or her or something to that effect, and the setup will probably be Dirty Dom doing what he does best, turning on another woman and picking another woman. He's going to kick Liv's back in, and then Roxanne and company, they're going to take over. That's where it's going, and that's going to be fun too. So I'm excited either way.
No, I would be down. I'd be down for that. The first iteration of that story with Liv and Rio was fantastic. So I would be here for. And by the way, obviously we have Solo versus Jacob Fatu. This should be fun. Arguably, and this is arguably the worst match on the card. We're in for a good card. And I think these two had enough chemistry in the first match that I'm excited for this. I think it's going to be great. And I believe, if I remember correctly, it's in a cage, so the bloodline can't get involved, which means the bloodline is absolutely getting involved. So
100% they're getting involved. I love how people go steel cage so they can't get involved, right? Because guys don't find a way to break into the cage or climb the cage and get involved. They're getting involved. The only question is, when it's all said and done, will Solo still be champ? I'm going to say he will. I'm going to say he's going to still be champ because I think Fatu is such a big star. One of these guys that they've built up so much that he for sure is much better as a chaser than he is of the guy that's defending the belt. So I'm not saying at some point he won't win the belt, but I think he's more entertaining when he's chasing you, when he's pursuing you.
No, and I agree with that. I think Solo wins, but I also think that's because I think they're going to start slowly, continuously moving Jacob up the card. I think that, you slowly build Jacob up and you put him in a spot where I genuinely think by the Royal Rumble, Mo, Jacob Fatu will be a real threat to win it. And he might not, but he might not the Rumble, but keep slowly building him and continue him as a threat that I either think he wins a world championship at WrestleMania or they'll give him a signature win. Imagine how great it would be if Jacob Fatu knocks off Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 42, for example. I think they're building up to something big with him, which means I think maybe we should keep the U.S. title with Solo and let him work with that while we focus more on Fatu.
You read my mind. Maybe Jacob Fatu at some point wins the U.S. belt back, but I don't think he needs it. I think he's got bigger fish to fry, and I do think they're elevating him up into that top of the roster, up there with where the icons are. Right, they're going to put him up there with Seth, with Roman, and people of that ilk, with Cody. When you're up there with those guys, you are a main event guy on a regular basis, and I think that's exactly what their plans are for Jacob Fatu.
Yeah, and you know what? Well deserved. He's done nothing but knock it out of the park. He knocked it out of the park with his debut, and I was wondering if he'd be able to top that, and he just continuously seems to do so. So I can't wait. But, I also can't wait for the women's action on night 2 because this is going to be awesome. Becky versus Lyra Valkyria, U.S. title. If Lyra loses, she can't challenge for the U.S. title. I believe it's while Becky's still champion. So
Right.
I think this will be a great match, and I just don't know where you go with this one. Like, I feel like
I'm going Becky.
Yeah, it feels like you can go either way. I think you know what? I think I would use this moment to put over Lyra and make her a bigger star by having her beat Becky. So, I'll go with Lyra, but if Becky wins, I would not be shocked at all. Just terrific rivalry, and I also think a factor in this match could be Bayley.
Yes, I do. I think so too. I actually think Bayley will be a factor. I think Bayley is going to try to intervene and kind of help Lyra out, and I think she will cost Lyra. I that's the feeling I'm going to get because the stipulation where if Lyra doesn't win, she can't challenge again as long as Becky's champ, which means Becky could be champ for 6 months, for a year, or she could lose the belt in 30 days and somebody else's champ and Lyra takes the belt off of them. So I think the buildup is Lyra's going to win, but I think Becky ends up getting the win.
And that's fair enough. It's also could be a slow reunion of the horsewomen reunion with Becky and Bayley. Like, I can also just see a straight Bayley heel turn and this just being a massive swerve. So I either way, I'll be happy with the result. You can make a bigger star or just kind of make a bigger deal out of the belt. So when Becky does finally drop it to somebody down the line, you make a bigger star down the line. Either way, I don't think you lose in this scenario. Oof. Of course, we have the triple threat. Naomi, Rhea, Io. It would feel just so wrong if they already took the title off of Naomi, wouldn't it? Like, I'm going to pick Naomi to win. It feels like if they took the title off her after 3 weeks, that would be bogus.
And I agree. I think it would be criminal. Rhea Ripley is a mega star who will be a mega star with or without the belt. Io is an established star in her own right. We're not even talking about Naomi making it to Mania. We're just saying that she should have a little bit of a longer run. Because at some point, be it Io or Rhea, one of them will take it off her hands, and then they'll have to get in the ring one more time and have a definitive match because the buildup is obviously that Rhea's never beaten Io, but now it's a triple threat match. So, either one of them can pin Naomi without pinning each other and win the belt. I hope that plays in Naomi's favor, and she's kind of the forgotten person, and rather than both going after her, they start going after each other, and she finds the way to steal the show.
Absolutely, and honestly, Naomi deserves a longer reign. She's, been with the company forever outside of a short stint where she left and went to, like, TNA. But, she's been with the company for years, and this is her biggest push to date. I would absolutely hate to see it because it's like you said, like, Rhea doesn't need the belt. Io just had a run as champion. I don't know if Naomi factors into their WrestleMania plans, but even if they don't, like, have her lose it at Survivor Series or the Royal Rumble. Like, I want to see her at least hold it, preferably for my opinion, at least hold it until the Royal Rumble. Give her like a solid 6-month reign, and then, shift into your WrestleMania plans or whatever you got to do. But I think any time before the Rumble would be criminal.
Agreed.
And of course, I kind of already said my prediction, but Cody versus Cena, it feels like that this is it for the John Cena 17th championship reign. Like, it feels like something's going to happen. Either Cody beats him or Cody, clean, or Cody turns heel, or it just feels like something monumental is going to happen at this show. And I feel like it's going to end with Cody Rhodes holding that title any means necessary.
It might end that way, but on the other hand, you get John Cena back being face John Cena. And I think if you get that version of John Cena back, that's a great way for him to go out. Not to mention, we talked about this, there is a belt that he's never won. And you know what? Why not? Why not get that off the bucket list? And even though he'll, if he won it, I'm sure he would turn around and relinquish the belt. So I think John Cena, even if he loses the belt to Cody, he's not done. I think he'll get he'll win another title before he walks away. And the great thing about Cena is if Cody has a heel turn and he's able to win the belt from Cena, Cena is the kind of guy that he can put guys over. He can accept that I'm leaving. You know what I mean? Like, in the way you leave, usually you put another guy over, pass the torch, if you will, and keep it moving. He'll do what's best for the company. So if Cody should win, we got to give Cody his flowers, but we have to give even more flowers to John Cena for being a true team player.
It almost feels like that, like mentally, it feels like that they kind of have to force John Cena to win these matches because that's all he was doing for like 5 years is putting guys over and making sure the future of the company's, you know, in good hands and trying to make them look strong. So I'm really happy that John Cena got his winning streak, but I completely agree. I think, and that's kind of what I was alluding to with why I said that I want John Cena, either John Cena to win or AJ Styles to win if John Cena loses, because giving John Cena versus AJ Styles one last match, and especially for the Intercontinental Championship,
Right.
the one belt that Cena's never won, I think that would make for a phenomenal second, you know, stint of his retirement tour. And that could be the belt that, you know, he drops at the end on his retirement day, or even at Survivor Series if he doesn't want it to be about belts. But overall, it feels like that there's still so much life left in this retirement tour, so many different directions that he can go. But I think it starts here with Cody pulling it off.
And the Cody heel turn, if it does happen, Brett, I'm here for it. I think the Cody heel turn is must-see TV. And it opens up a whole nother lane of storylines. Because you know, if Cody becomes a heel, the first chance Seth Rollins gets to get on the mic and give his opinion on Cody's new attitude, that's going to be fun. That's going to be hilarious. Same for CM Punk and others. And I'd be interested in seeing what Reigns and John Cena have to say about new attitude Cody. Look, Gene gave his opinion, I think, earlier, and he believes it'll end the way it ended with Cena and Cody the first time around, except this time The Rock's going to give the signal to Cody. And we talked about this. Should that happen, I'm okay with it as so long as The Rock is committed to selling the whole storyline. If he's not committed to it, then they shouldn't have him get involved at all.
That, you know, they came out with that, you know, WWE, the new show that they're showing, you know, behind the scenes, like how creative works and everything. And they, like, obviously part of that first episode was, you know, lead up to WrestleMania, the Rumble, the Elimination Chamber, the heel turn. That was so funny, Mo. Like, watching that, they're like, we need to run this by 5 people, a heel turn of this magnitude. You know, The Rock, Nick Khan, Cena, Cody, and Travis Scott. I'm like, oh.
Travis Scott.
Oh, no, we don't. It's like, oh, this is what we're building it around. Like, I say that to say this. Like, if you're going to turn Cody heel with the help of The Rock, just leave it at Cody and The Rock. No other celebrities needed, please.
Agreed.
Like, even if The Rock is committed, if he is committed, if he isn't committed, whatever happens, please this time, just leave it at Cody and The Rock. Let those two do, because The Rock understands, you know, wrestling and wrestling psychology. And if you're going to have him be involved in the main event spot, like, at least he gets it. Like, I don't mind celebrities in wrestling, just really prefer them not in my main event spots.
Hey, on that, we 1,000% agree. There is a place for celebrities in wrestling. They're entertaining. It's fun to have them come out with certain wrestlers as if they're part of a faction or something. I don't want to see them in the ring.
Yeah, I think the only time, obviously, I remember it really working that well was with Mike Tyson being the special enforcer. It's almost it's so funny. I feel like AEW actually handles like celebrities quite a bit better at times than WWE with their matches. Like WWE is like, here's a main event spot, or here's a spot on the main card. Well, AEW is like, oh, you want a match, Shaq? Yeah, cool. Here's a match on Wednesday Night Dynamite.
Right.
Or like, oh, Big Boom AJ, you want to wrestle? Yeah, cool. Here's our pre-show. They like make sure to put them in spots where they're not taking up like matches on a main card from like younger talent, and I've always appreciated that. But yeah, those are our SummerSlam predictions.
I'm hype. I'm ready. And look, we made our predictions, but if WWE throws us a couple of curveballs, I like being surprised as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Before we get on out of here, Mo, I updated our best matches of the year for the Meaty Boyz Awards show. So here's what I got so far, by the way. I just love announcing these. And if anybody doesn't know, at the end of the year, we're going to have a Meaty Boyz Awards show with best matches and everything. And we'll have 4 options and a write-in spot. So you can write in whatever match you want in case I missed one. Because, that's bound to happen. So for my matches of the year so far, I got Cody Rhodes versus Kevin Owens at the Royal Rumble.
Great match.
Street Profits versus Motor City Machine Guns versus DIY, then that triple threat TLC match on SmackDown. I remember that because I was watching that from the NFL draft in the hot tub. I was in my hotel room balling out to that. Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens at the Elimination Chamber.
That was a banger.
And Seth Rollins versus CM Punk versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 41.
That was an intense match. That ending was bananas. But I like all the matches you named. That's a strong group.
Say the women's match is fun. The women's stuff was added a couple from added a couple from Evolution on the women's side. On the WWE side, still got the women's Elimination Chamber match. I just think that was done exceptionally well. Got Rhea versus Io versus Bianca from WrestleMania 41. Becky versus Lyra versus Bayley from Evolution 2. And Naomi versus Io versus Rhea from Evolution 2. Say what we will, but there seems to be something magical about WWE pairing just women triple threat matches this year.
Look, the women can easily be that triple threat match. I can see it being a main event match. It's a title match. It's for the championship. And those are 3 terrific performers that I guarantee you they will not disappoint. And so wherever they come off in the card, I think they're going to set a high bar.
Yeah, and I honestly believe fully that I will be adding that other triple threat match with Naomi, Rhea, and Io. And literally my entire list of match of the year candidates will just be 4 triple threat matches. And I'm here for it. It's great that in 2025, I think I can honestly say it. It's almost like at times the women are outshining the men, and I love to see it.
Great.
But yeah, no, Mo, it's already been an hour. Like, that's wild. That went by way too fast.
It did.
Say anything you want to add before we get up on out of here?
No, just appreciate the energy from the chat. Key, Coach, everybody that stopped by. Thank you guys so much. Make sure you check us out tomorrow morning on Coffee Sports The Morning Show.
Absolutely. And of course, we have the N1 podcast on Thursday. We've been doing our NBA Mount Rushmores. And this week is a really fun division. We're in the Pacific Division. So that is Kings, Suns, Clippers, and of course, Lakers and Warriors. So that's going to be an absolute battle to figure out the 4 best players in some of those teams. So make sure you tune in for that. Definitely appreciate you guys and enjoy the rest of your night.